Awesome. Okay. I'd like to officially call this Tuesday, May 13th meeting of the Seneca County Board of Commissioners to order. Please join me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And if you'll join me for a prayer. Dear Lord, thank you for this beautiful day, and may you continue to guide us as we do due diligence to the citizens of Seneca County, and may we do so in serving you as well. Amen. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Stacy?
Here.
Commissioner Zoller? Commissioner Whitaker?
Here.
Sign the journal for today's meeting as well. Take a motion to accept the DVD recording of the previous board session from Tuesday, May 13th, and the index of that meeting.
I'll make that motion.
And I'll second that motion. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Approved. Now, do we have any adjustments for the agenda?
I need to add 2 under new business, radio and the reappointment for mental health and recovery services board that we got a letter on. She just has a question about it.
Okay. And we'll ask Mr. J to come forward first. That way, if you want to stay for the rest of our meeting, you can, but if you've got other things you need to move on to before we move through anything, so.
Thank you. So come forward. You want me to come forward?
Sure, we want you to be on camera. You can stand or sit, whatever you want to do. I don't know if you know every, I know you.
I know Commissioner.
You know us,
Yeah, but these two
Nicole
ladies.
and Stacy.
Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Well, let me give you my new business card.
That's right, you get new information.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Fortunately, twice I've got to, can I stand here? Would this be okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I got to meet Commissioner Zeller twice. Once was at a network regional meeting that we hold in Findlay every other month. And I think he was also at the Bowling Green State University State of the Region address, and he was there. And of course, I knew David Zach for many years when he was with the State of Ohio Health Department Development, and as they changed there. And but I just wanted to take a couple minutes to reintroduce myself as the newest member of the Regional Growth Partnership. The Regional Growth Partnership's been around since about 1992, 94, and I've worked with them since they started. I was the Economic Development Director for the city of Toledo, Fremont, for 22 years. Every time I introduced myself, I wanted to tell them that's where I'm from. I'm sure you probably had to get used to that too, from being at the chamber for so many years. But, so I'm getting better at it. But they've changed their roles over the years, and the last 3 years has been a significant difference. So anyways, leaving the city of Fremont just a couple months ago, I started March 1st with the Regional Growth Partnership. And one of the things that Dean Mosky, the president, says, Mike, what you need to do is go out and meet the county commissioners, meet the leaders of the communities, because we do have project managers that work in the areas of all 17 counties in Northwest Ohio, and they're busy working with the David Zacks of the world, trying to put the deals together and doing that type of work. And we needed somebody to go out and talk with the elected officials, the leaders, the shakers and movers in the community. So that's what I'm doing. And what I want to do is just briefly bring up several things that we've got going on with the Regional Growth Partnership. We do a lot of international trade activities. Paul Zito, who's our international trade expert, was at the Hanover Fair last month for about a week. And I think this Friday he leaves for Japan for 8 nights and 9 days to do economic development efforts for Seneca County and 16 other counties in Northwest Ohio. One thing that I want to stress to you is, being at a city in Fremont, I often wondered how Toledo-centric the Regional Growth Partnership was or was not. and they are not. I'm finding that out, that you are represented here in Seneca County just as well as anyone's represented in all of the other 16 counties. I think Dave will attest to that too. There's a time where he's not getting the love from the Regional Growth Partnership or Jobs Ohio like he should. That's our fault, and he will let us know about it, and certainly we'll step up the game. But I'm finding out that's not an issue, because it's brought up quite often with some of the communities, especially the ones that are down in Hardin County and Wyandotte County and Crawford County. They're ways away from the corporate office in Toledo, and so they have that question. But I still live in Fremont and have an office in Toledo, but I basically work out of Fremont, so I'm going down to Lima this afternoon. As a matter of fact, yesterday I was in Delphus, so we get out to all the communities. So in addition to the international trade, trying to sell any opportunities for you for Northwest Ohio, we're doing that and doing it well. We have a business retention and expansion program going on that we work directly with the local economic development organizations, and actually we're paying the local organizations to go out and make those R&E calls to businesses that have 50 or more employees, and that's taking off and going well. It's a lot different from last year. It was fine-tuned and working a lot better this year. Third, we have a FAM tour coming in June. We have site selections consultants coming in so we can show them what Northwest Ohio is all about, what our advantages are of doing businesses here, and having them help attract their customers here. And we did it last year. We're going to do it again next month. And of course, you will be represented at that. Editorial marketing. I wasn't sure, was Ballricks in? Do you remember, was Ballricks in the articles last year? Did anything come up, David, about that? We had editors come in from food manufacturing magazines, and they toured different facilities. In Fremont, we tried to get them into Heinz, but we couldn't because they were just bought out recently. They weren't interested at the time, but Campbell Soup, Spangler, I think Ballricks was mentioned. But the editors, rather than Regional Growth Partnership or Seneca County telling the world why we are good at attracting and keeping food manufacturers in the area, we have editors of these magazines to come and learn about, and they write about it.
Yeah.
So that has a lot more credibility, I think. So they're coming back in this fall. We're doing a freight study with a consultant out of Dallas. Marketing your buildings and sites, we're continuing to do that. Two projects that I'm working on, I'll finish with that. One is workforce development. At our last board meeting last month, Dr. Mazie with Bowling Green State University stood up and said, Dean Monsky, what is the Regional Growth Partnership doing on workforce development? Well, we don't take a leading role in that because there's a lot of experts out there that do. As a matter of fact, I'm meeting with Carol Owen after this morning to talk with her about Seneca County and what's going on. And but I'm looking at the best practices so that we can tell site selection consultants, because they asked last year when they came here, says all the communities in Northwest Ohio are having the same issues with workforce development. If it's a drug issue or if it's not finding the right skill set to meet the need of business and industry, what are you doing about it? Well, a lot of people in Northwest Ohio are doing a lot of things. So I'm packaging that together to let our board know and also to let the site selection consultants know when they come. And finally, the BRAC base realignment and closure efforts there's about 8 counties of the 17. Seneca, I don't think, has a military presence here. But the biggest one you may know, Lima Tank Plant, the 180th out of the Toledo airport, even up in Ottawa County, they have the Red Horse Squadron up there. Millions of dollars are funneled into those communities. Well, every once in a while, the federal government looks and says, we need to realign, we need to take money away, we need to close some of these bases. So the communities have to be ready for when that review comes up. The last one was in 2005. There's another one coming. We don't know when. We don't know how serious it is. But again, Dean says, Mike, get out there. Here's data on those 8 counties. You can tell them, there's $23 million in Lucas County per year, $3 million in Ottawa County, whatever the case may be. And make sure that efforts are going on now before they do the formal review. So we've got projects like that in addition to marketing your community to the world and making sure that what you've got here, the whole world. Because site selection consultants, they have a list like this of communities that they could show their prospects to or their customers to. And they work very hard at whittling away those communities to get it down to 3 or 5, where you work very hard at getting on that list and staying on that list. And we're on your side to help do that too. We don't want to give them a reason to take you off the list when they're trying to narrow that for their customers. And so working with elected officials, working with David Zach and community leaders, you know, we can get that done. But, so that's what we've got going on. Just want to give you an update. Fortunately, I know you two very well.
Did you say fortunately or unfortunately?
That's it, twice. And I met Commissioner Zeller twice, like I said.
Yeah.
And very cordial, very nice gentleman, so. That's it. Just thank you for letting me come and say hello. And I'll stick around for a little bit, that's
Okay,
okay.
yeah, by all means. Thank you for coming and
You're welcome.
giving us that update. And if there's ever a time, I guess we can be of assistance with information. You know where to find us.
I know where to find it, yeah. And I'm assuming you're the president now because you open the meeting and you're in the middle.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Next year it'll be somebody else. Do you rotate like five commissioners?
We'll try. He keeps saying he won't take it though, so
Okay,
maybe we'll have
so
to
you
do
might
that
have
when
to do
he's
it
not
too.
here. We'll reorganize and give it to Fred.
Thank you.
We can't do the bid opening until 10:15, right? Okay. Then, we won't go to that. Let's move to our old business things that we have listed. We have down the job fair. We did have a Seneca County Jobs Fair yesterday, Mike. I don't know if you were aware of that or not, but this was our second year, and it's with the two chambers, Fostoria, Tiffin, Seneca County, both economic development organizations, ourselves, Department of Jobs and Family Services, and both cities are behind that with Congressman Jordan. They kind of planted the seed well over a year ago, and we went with that and said, yeah, we would like to see that happen here. Doing what, like some of the things you said in the workforce issues that are there, and it seemed to be that we haven't had an unemployment number, yet we've got businesses saying they can't get enough help, and that was even stronger need for those employees, I think, a year ago than now, but there's still a need, still a lot of open positions. So we had the second one yesterday at the Heminger Center there at Tiffin University. And we had about 175 job seekers come through. Now that number was down from what we had last year, which was 500. It's about the same number of businesses participating, but everything went really well and it was pretty steady. It wasn't a mad rush at the beginning like the year before. I think the businesses made some good connections, so I think in general it went well. We don't know the reasonings for it being down, if more people already have jobs. We know a lot of the VIP program, we know we didn't have as many pre-register for that, but of the Vanguard students, he said they already had an 85% placement factor for their seniors, so they just didn't have as many that needed that service, to come find a job. They already had those things taken care of. So we'll have to see what happens and the feedback from the job seekers as well as from the businesses there. But David, it's your first time seeing it. Any comments you want to share with us? What you were there for a while?
I think it's a critical tool. Like you, I'm interested in some of the reasons for trying, for the little bit decline in attendees, but usually, there's a reason we've been in the top 10 in the country for economic development. I think some of that is, some of the folks are getting jobs, but I think we're always looking for innovative ways to get the word out, to be able to connect people to open positions. So there's still a lot of work to do, a lot of folks that would like jobs, and so we'll continue to work on that. So I love the setup, there's room for expansion. So we have 50 employers, which I think is phenomenal. So I think it's a great thing. Appreciate all the efforts Nikki and everybody else put in to make it happen, and you, Holly. So I think it's successful, and I think we continue to build.
Yeah, we'll do that. And the only big difference this year was our time. We pushed it back, so we'd be there after the business hours of the day. And I'm not sure that it, number-wise, didn't prove that was a good move, but, we'll have to rehash it all. We'll have a wrap-up meeting soon.
Yeah, I just asked John about that today.
Yeah, as soon as I asked,
After action review.
I asked Neil this morning to get a date from the Congressman's office, folks, what are some dates that are good for them, and Job and Family, because they're both very critical in being part of that. Not that we don't need everybody, then we'll start floating some dates out for the committee, and we'll go over that. Okay, the only other item we had an old business listed was the Cemetery Lane, and you had a contact from someone,
Yeah,
Jeff?
the farmer stopped to talk to me over the weekend. We had that blocked off with rope during the inclement weather to keep more ruts from happening. He said people are driving around, somebody, not people, but probably one individual's driving around the rope and going in, wondered if we could take it down. So I yesterday asked just Stacy to have Dean take that down. We'll just have to put up a sign, you know, stay off when it's muddy, or however you want to word that. I don't know what the right wording would be, and I have to trust people's honor that they'll use their good judgment and not get stuck again. So.
Right, right. Yeah, something about, you know, please use as a walking path when not suited for driving or
Some,
something. Okay. Yeah, because we don't want them driving through the field.
yeah, he was concerned that he didn't have it planted yet, but he soon would. At least
Yeah.
he thought he would Sunday. He probably isn't there yet.
Okay.
But, I forgot to mention, we did get this
Oh.
cupcake from the Relay for Life yesterday at
Oh,
their,
okay, yep.
at their big ceremony, so that went well also.
Okay, good, good. Well, then let's go. We are at 10:16, so we'll do the bid opening for the 2014 chip seal program. And we'll do that.
This is from, first bid is from Witta Construction out of Astoria, Ohio. The engineer's estimate on the project is $1,001,209, 1,001,209.00. Total bid amount is $1,096,118.74, 1,096,118.74. Second bid is from Erie Blacktop out of Sandusky. Let's see, total bid amount, $1,152,640.81, 1,152,640.81. Last bid I have is from Henry W. Bergman Incorporated out of Genoa. And total bid amount, $1,057,395.69, 1,057,395.69. And those are the only bids I have.
All right, well, we thank everyone for bidding on that, and those will be given to the county engineer for review
Yep.
and awarding.
Recommendation.
Recommendation to award. So thanks for those who bid, appreciate that. We have till 10:30 to do the hearing, so we will go to our new business. Let's do those two add-ons or I'll forget them. The radio.
First, the radio, Keith said that he would like you guys to come in.
Oh, WTSC.
Yes, on June 10th at about 8:10 in the morning. Does that
Okay.
work for, obviously I can't, I'll have to email Fred or something,
Okay.
What day of the week is that?
but, June 10th is a Tuesday.
Tuesday. All right.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, that's fine if it works for Fred.
Even if not, maybe he can do Fred separate and at least get you two in there.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of what he wants. For the three of us, we just like to let people know that we're all free to do that.
Right. The second one is, I got a letter from Nancy Cochran out of the Mental Health and Recovery Services Board. And
96, okay, good, thank you.
they have a situation where they want to reappoint a lady to the board, but they want it to be on the Wyandotte County Commissioner's side. The lady, grew up in Upper and continues to socialize with most of her friends and family. However, her address puts her as a Seneca County resident. But everybody she knows is more Wyandotte County area. And because we already have our appointments for Seneca County, she was wondering if it would basically be okay if they reappointed this, Helen Shin, I believe is how you say it, to Wyandotte County Board.
So Wyandotte County has so many seats and we have so many seats and everything.
Right, and all of our seats are full and they have openings.
Yeah,
So
No, that's
I
fine.
didn't think it would be a big deal, but I just wanted to make sure before.
no, they've got individuals they want to serve and that want to serve, I think that's great, so,
Good to me.
yeah, that works. I guess we start with the bill vouchers.
Okay, bill vouchers 54 through 56. I have an appropriation adjustment within the general fund, moving $2,540.30 from workers' comp to supplies. I have a supplement to the permanent appropriations for the SFY 14 Community Corrections Fund 181, putting $1,724 into salaries, $5,519 into contract services, $23.53 into Medicare, $359.86 into hospitalization, $271.33 into PRS, for a total $7,897.72. I have a supplement to the permanent appropriations for the general fund, putting $163,612.15 into our contract services. This is for the lots, the CSB, and the Commissioner's parking lot asphalt projects to be paid for out of the recycling fund. We just needed to appropriate it. I have a supplement to the permanent appropriations for the Delinquent Care and Custody Grant Fund 162, putting $6,276.21 into salaries, $51.74 into Medicare, $499.53 into PRS, for a total of $6,827.48. I have a resolution setting time, date, and place to receive sealed bids for the CDBG FY13 Village of Bettsville Culvert Replacement Project. This will be Tuesday, June 10th at 10:30 a.m. at the Commissioner's office. I have a resolution authorizing the Seneca County Board of Commissioners to enter into a contract with Lindsay Precast for the PLE Township Road 75-2.66 Bridge Precast Reinforced Concrete Boxes, contract number 1402. I have a resolution authorizing contract service agreement between Shelley A. Burkhart and the Seneca County Board of Elections, retroactive to April 4th, 2014.
Do you know what that's about?
That is the consultant that they had hired to help them get through the election.
Do some training, because both director and deputy director were new.
Okay,
And so she had some previous Board of Elections experience from, I forget what county, but
Okay, all right.
And I think it was,
Putnam.
they had signed it, but they need us as contracting
Sure.
authority, they needed us to sign it, so.
Okay, thank you.
I have a resolution authorizing 2014 software support agreement with McDonald, Freebird, Carr, and Dixon on behalf of the Seneca County Clerk of Courts. And I think that was all the resolutions I have.
I move we approve?
Okay, I'll second. No additional questions, discussion? Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Wagner,
Yes.
Commissioner Zoller, Commissioner Stacy.
Yes. All approved, thank you. there any further items for new business? Anything?
I just could mention the jail's looking nice. You've been by that? They're painting the outside and the outside looks nice. It's noticeably brighter from the road.
You're looking in.
You know, it's kind of gray, so it's hard to look really bright, but it's noticeably brighter from the road, so.
Oh, good.
Yeah, talked to him this morning, he said he thought it was going well, and so.
Good. So good stuff. We have until 10:30. Does that matter if we start that early or not?
It's a hearing, so we have to wait till 10:30.
We have to wait till 10:30. All right. You have anything else for new business? All right. Well, we can go to a period for the citizens' comments if we can get them started anyway. We have, like I said, we can't do the public hearing with you down until 10:30. So does anyone have any comments for citizens' comments? Okay. Guess we'll just,
Gonna talk about something?
we can, yeah, talk about whatever. A few minutes to let pass before we can do that. Follow the procedures, I guess.
You work out of your home most of the time, Mike, or?
I go to Toledo maybe once a week.
Okay.
We have a staff meeting every other week, and there seems to be conference calls we're making or something, but, yeah. I'm pretty excited. There's a lot of good things going on in Northwest Ohio. You can see the economy starting to change, and different communities having things going on. I visited a plant called Vanamatic yesterday in Belfast, and there's 4 siblings that run the plant. And they are, when I walked in, there was the University of Michigan fans. The one guy had on a T-shirt, and his office was decorated like it. And so I was making a fuss because I'm an Ohio State fan, and they didn't want to play too much with that, so I let that go. We had a fun jabbing about it. When I got into their plant to tour it, their floor where visitors can walk, and it's not in the production area, maize and gold. It's painted in maize with gold trim on the side. So I did bring up Ohio State after that, because I know how serious they were about it. So you get to see fun things like that when you're out.
Yeah.
I've been to hundreds of plant tours over my career, and that one took the cake, I have to tell you.
Yeah.
Is the peaking plant running at full efficiency there north of Fremont?
It is, yeah, it's doing very, very well, and it's nice seeing the water vapor. I used to call it steam until my son, who's in the nuclear power business, told me, Dad, you don't want steam leaving those plants. That's what they generate, that's what they use to turn the turbines. It's water vapor. I said, okay, so I learned that. They're the same, 2 of the same people that started the plant in Fremont, starting one in Oregon, Ohio.
Okay.
And then they're also looking in Lordstown to build another one.
And that's gas fired, yeah?
Gas fired, yeah, combined cycle, 2 turbines that generate electricity. I guess Davis Bessie's up and running.
Good. Good. I keep
Starting green paints.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's all for first time.
Yeah.
Did you see on the calendar, we've scheduled the facility
They
dudes
joked that my first Ohio
web
State game was
webinar
I did.
web thing,
in
for
Michigan.
Thursday, the
And he was at the same
15th, 4
game,
o'clock.
sitting very close to where I was. Season
Log
tickets.
in, watch, and they've given us the quotes for it. Sounds pretty good.
All right.
So that'll be Thursday.
Helen Shin, S-H-I-N.
I got a son graduated.
The computers, my computer's still, the message went out, and sent
You
it.
can see the tickets
But
from
it
this.
still gives me
Popping
that,
up.
it's still popping up that when they're trying to
Two games.
do anything.
It is season two.
Something.
All right, yeah.
So he's got
Last week.
a little bit out of his age bracket. You know.
Sure, right, yeah.
All right. Well, it's 10:30, so I guess we can officially have the CHIP public hearing. And with that, I assume we have a sign-in sheet, and we will turn it over to you, Don.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. I'm Don Corley, the Housing Development Coordinator for WSOS Community Action. The commissioners have procured us to once again prepare and submit on their behalf an application for funding for certain housing activities. And this is a public hearing to give you the details on that. And I'm going to circulate a sign-in sheet. Copy of the presentation.
Thank you.
Ready to press?
There's another press back here too.
Hello, press.
Thank you.
There you go.
See you, young man.
Everybody else, just listen, please. Okay. What we're talking about here is an application that the Seneca County is preparing to submit to the state of Ohio Development Services Agency, Office of Community Development, to fund its 2014 Comprehensive Housing Impact and Preservation Program, or the CHIP program. It's always been called CHIP since it was created in '94, but the words I gave you are a little bit different because the program has changed this year. So it's now Community Housing Impact and Preservation Program. The state of Ohio receives certain funds from the U.S. Department of HUD to conduct activities that are eligible under those various funding sources. And in the case of housing, the resources that HUD provides that apply are the HOME program and the Community Development Block Grant program. The state of Ohio takes those monies and puts a portion of them into its CHIP program for local counties and cities who wish to participate to compete for funds. It's not an allocation, it is a competition. They also put some Ohio Housing Trust funds into that mix. So this year there's somewhere around $20.4 million total between those three resources. A change in the program that's significant this year is the state is encouraging local communities who are eligible to apply for CHIP funds to partner. In this case, Seneca County, the City of Tiffin, and the City of Fostoria, each of which has separately applied for CHIP funds in the past, have agreed to partner on this year's application. Seneca County agreed to be the lead applicant, and if funds are awarded, the grantee, so they would assume overall fiscal responsibility for the program. They have procured WSOS to prepare the application submitted on their behalf, and as in the past, Seneca Regional Planning would co-administer the program with WSOS on behalf of the commissioners. The partnership is eligible to apply for up to $975,000 in a number of activities. We met with a housing advisory committee in April, and that committee has made recommendations, and those activities and proposed funding levels are what I'm going to share with you now. We're going to request funds from HOME, CDBG, and Ohio Housing Trust funds. The activities under HOME would be private owner housing rehabilitation. I'm going to request $516,000 to rehab a minimum of 13 units. Those are for low and moderate income homeowners who are eligible for the program. And the assistance is provided as a combined deferred and forgivable loan up to a maximum of $46,000. And all the numbers I give you are both hard and soft costs. Hard costs being the actual contracted costs of making repairs to a property. Soft costs being the implementation costs, the determining eligibility of applicants, inspecting the properties, preparing bid specifications, overseeing the construction process, everything that's necessary to deliver the service to the eligible person consistent with the state's and HUD's rules and regulations. So $516,000 to rehab a minimum of 13 units, and those will be spread across the entire county, some in the jurisdiction of Tiffin, some in the jurisdiction of Fostoria, and others out in the balance of the county. The second activity to be funded under home is tenant-based rental assistance. We'll be requesting $42,000 for 6 units. Tenant-based rental assistance is similar to the Section 8 program that is operated by the Seneca Metro Housing Authority. Provides a supplement to a low-income renter so that they don't pay more than 30% of their monthly gross income on housing. So we inspect the property where an eligible tenant is living. If the landlord is willing to cooperate and the house meets the minimum standards, then we can provide that rental assistance to the tenant as long as they are there and renting the property for at or below the fair market rent. The third activity to be funded with home would be cooperation with Seneca County Habitat for Humanity. They will be building one property, most likely within the city limits of Tiffin. We'd be providing $22,000 in hard and soft costs to supplement an estimated $60,000 that Habitat would bring to the table to complete one new unit for an eligible home buyer. There would be administrative costs of $56,000 on the home allocation side. Under the Community Development Block Grant, the county will be requesting funds for the following activities. Owner home repair, $210,000 for a minimum of 21 units. The previous activity I described, housing rehab, we go in and improve all of the major systems in the house and bring them up to a minimum standard. In the case of home repair, we target one system that is a health or safety violation or otherwise deficient, representing a hazard to the eligible homeowner. Home repair is a maximum of $12,000 in hard and soft costs and is provided as a grant to the eligible recipient. Also under CDBG would be requesting, and this is a new activity this year, rental home repair, $18,000 for 3 units. In the case of the rental property that is receiving home repair, again, we'd be targeting one system. The tenant's eligibility is what determines the overall eligibility of the property. The landlord is expected to contribute 50% of the hard cost. So we're estimating that the hard cost contribution on each property would be around $5,000. It's provided as a 2-year forgivable loan. There would also be, under CDBG, administration and fair housing costs of $61,000. Under Ohio Housing Trust Funds, we'd be requesting an additional $50,000 for 5 additional units of owner home repair with the same kind of finance mechanism, a grant, same types of work that I mentioned for the CDBG funded owner home repair. Difference being that the maximum income for trust funds is 50% of the area of median income. So again, a total, that totals $975,000 for the 5 activities plus administration and fair housing. The Housing Advisory Committee has also identified some geographic areas to which we would do targeted outreach and marketing to try and increase impact in areas where there are concentrations of low and moderate income persons. Outside the cities, those target areas would be the villages of New Regal and Bloomville. Inside of Fostoria would be the neighborhoods with Spruce, Lynn, and Cherry Streets on the northeast side of Fostoria, and the Eagle, Jones, and Clark Street areas east of State Street in southeast Fostoria. In Tiffin, the areas we will concentrate on in Frost Parkway and adjacent residential streets such as St. Clair, Carl, Orange, Center, and Plum, and the Avenues area from 1st to 7th Ave, where we have targeted some resources in the past for the City of Tiffin's CHIP program. The application is due to the state of Ohio by June 6th. And we should know by sometime in August whether or not the partner's application is successful and will be awarded funds. Okay, that's an overview of the 2014 CHIP application. Any comments or questions from the public or from the commissioners? Yes, sir.
Yes, I have a question.
Yes.
If the homeowner is renting the property and you come in and put new windows in, say,
Uh-huh.
and the homeowner in a very short period of time after that sells that house and makes a profit on that house, that doesn't seem quite fair to me.
Well, as I mentioned, there is a 2-year commitment from the property owner on a rental home repair. If they sell the property during that 2 year, if they sell it in the first year, 50%, well, actually, before 1 year, all of it would be repayable to the county. There would be a lien on the property, or to the cities if it's a property located in the cities. Depending on location, either whichever one of the partners has jurisdiction would hold a lien on the property. If they sold it between 1 and 2 years, they'd still have to pay back 50%. Only after 2 years would it be forgiven. So there is that required 2-year commitment from them. And they if the tenant moves out, they have to re-rent it during that period to another eligible tenant.
I know that happened. It's been a while back, but I knew that happened. And I was a little upset with it. It's been a while back. It's been.
Okay. Yeah, it would,
Years ago.
if it was, it would have been a rental rehab, which is a more extensive thing. Rental rehab, which we are not proposing in this application, requires a 10-year forgivable loan.
Okay. Thank you.
Other comments or questions?
Any feeling where we're, points-wise, we pretty competitive, you feel?
I think we'll be competitive. We reviewed with the Housing Advisory Committee, the ones, there are 100 points in the rating of the applications. It's become very competitive. Last year the cutoff was above 91, so it's, there's not much room for error. The county's application will lose some points in the distress criteria. We're not sure the exact number of points because when all the applications come in, they will determine the distress criteria, which has to do with unemployment, percent of people who are low and moderate income, number of households that are housing cost burden. They take those numbers from the census. And the community that has the quote-unquote most distress gets the maximum points in that category, and then the rest are spread down the list to the bottom. We know that there are a number of communities that will have more distress than the Seneca, Tiffin, Fostoria partnership, but we also know that there are a number of them that will have less, so we think we'll come in somewhere in the middle in that criteria, which gives us a good shot. But as I've indicated to our advisors every year, it gets more competitive every time. We know there have been about 82 applications registered in, this year we're submitting it electronically for the first time. You have to register the application, and there are at least 82 applications registered in the system. Because of the partnerships, there'll probably be a few less than in the past. Last year there was over 100. But the partnerships will create larger requests, but a smaller number of competitors. So, as always, it'll be tough, but we're hoping to be successful. Other questions or comments? Hearing none, I'll turn it back over to the president. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Only thing left on our agenda is to do the CDBG public hearing at 11. So I guess if there's no further business, we'll just take a little recess here. We really can't start that until 11 because it's a hearing. Okay. So we'll do that, we'll recess until 11, and if you want to stay around for that public hearing, please do so, and if you need to move on,
From the visiting?
you abstain.